Let me share a small story. There was this village which had a river flowing through it, and there was a wise man in religious robes who was sitting next to the bank or on the bank next to the river and just engrossed watching at the river. So this big businessman from the village, he was going by in the morning, and he saw him sitting there and intently watching the river. He was a little curious, but he was a busy man and he had a lot of things to worry about, so he just went on his way for his work. In the evening, when he came back, he found this guy sitting exactly there and looking at the river continuously. So this time he stopped. His curiosity was energized. He wanted to know what was happening. So he asked, "Sir, what have you been doing? You're sitting here and watching this river the whole day." So he said, "Actually, I want to cross to the other side of the river. Okay, and I'm waiting for all the water to flow through, and once it is empty and dry, I will walk across." So obviously the businessman sort of laughed and mockingly asked him, "This is crazy. This will take ages for the water to actually, if it ever does, to flow through and get empty. Your life will be over by then." So now it is the turn of the wise old man to smile at him and say, "Exactly my point. You run every day, I see, rush back, you have this big worry on your brow, and you are in your mind and you are always telling yourself that someday when all my responsibilities are over and I'm secure and a lot of money, I will start living and enjoying life. And my question to you is, won't your life be over by then?" It's an interesting tale, very small, but it just wakens you up. We spend all our time waiting to get to that day where we will start enjoying life. Okay, so we do all we worry, we stress, we do everything and say someday I'll be relaxed and I will enjoy life. If it's not the whole life, we also have now interestingly broken it into smaller units. So Monday morning to throughout the week, we are all waiting for Friday evening, for the weekend. So we don't technically enjoy life in that 5 days, and we wait for the weekend to go berserk and enjoy. Or we wait for this vacation twice a year or whatever to enjoy life. Until that time, we put life on a pause. Think about it. It's in a rough back of the envelope calculation, at a minimum, almost every country has at least 120 days of weekends, of vacation time, of national holidays, of festival holidays. So almost out of the 365 days, almost 2/3 of your life, you have put your life on pause. You are not living. You are just going about your day. You are doing time as if you are in a prison. Outstanding. If your lifespan is 80, 100 years, 2/3 of that you're not living, and we have only one life. Okay, and the biggest fallacy, and I can, when I look back, I feel, and the biggest myth is that life is long. Before you know, it's get over. It's not long. It's short. In fact, maybe I'm talking about this today because a lot of things have been happening recently. There were There was a movie star, was very big in South India last year, high and healthy man. He passed away with an heart attack while he was gymming. Last week there was this ex-head of one of the largest multinational banks in India. He just collapsed and died. He was 52. The movie star was 46. Right now there is another movie, one of the top comedians of comedy star, is struggling for his life, and he's 58, and he also collapsed while gymming. Life is unpredictable. It's not as we think too long. Before we know, it's over, and we don't know when it's over. 5 years back I had this life scare, and I remember that time I was thinking, when I thought that it was almost over, and I want you to come on this journey with me when I'm thinking. Okay, so I want you to think too for the next few minutes. That day 5 years back, and I was looking back at my life and thinking, what did I not the word achieve, but what are the big things in life? I mean, how did I enjoy this life? Very interesting is, the most of my nice thoughts were of childhood, my mother giving some tough love, or with my father, who was my teacher, my guru, who taught me so many things, including my love for English and mathematics. There were moments which stuck in my mind. Interestingly, my struggles or failures didn't come to mind. What came was the victories, the wins which happened after those struggles and failures. Those were in my mind. All my loved ones just flashed in my mind. The people who I love, who love me, they all flashed in my mind at that time. Interestingly, there were also some regrets, and these regrets were not about the things which I have done, and there were pretty long list of stupid things I have done, but the regrets were not on that. The regrets were about those things which I didn't do. The day where I didn't show courage. There were some things which I wanted to do and I didn't do because of fear. And as I grew up, there were things which I didn't do because it had too much risk. But these were things which on that day when I was looking back at my life and it was flashing through, these were the things which struck my mind and which stayed in my mind, and that was the regrets. Interesting. It was not about the things I did, it was about the things I didn't do. And think of it, if suppose by tonight we are going to die. Okay, if I was going to die, and if you think for yourself, we have a few hours left. What would I want to do in these few hours? It's not an easy question, and I think about this now very, very often, and I keep thinking, what are the few things which I would really want to achieve by today evening? One, obviously, I would call up all those people who I care for and make sure I have told them that I love them. Or those people who I hurt, but I have never told them I'm sorry. I would want to tell them by evening. There are some things of mine which I have not shared. Maybe where are my bank statement accounts or investments. I would quickly get my family to know everything. But we don't do that. We don't do any of these. Why? Because we think life is there. It's a long life. There is still time. I'll do it on some day. Isn't it best that we do it now, today, and do all of that? Life is unpredictable and life is not too long. Let's live each day. Wouldn't it be fantastic if on Monday morning I was as charged as I'm on Friday evening? I'm enjoying that work day as much as I'm enjoying the weekend. I don't need a separate vacation. My whole rest of the period is also like a vacation. That's a great balance. I'm not saying you don't need to take care of your responsibilities, but the whole mindset change is so important. Think about it. It's so important to crack this and live a full life. And when I say full life, it's like a child lives. Look at the child, is so full of energy. Right now we are so full of worries and responsibilities, we've forgotten our energy. Think about it. Till next weekend, stay unstoppable.